Alicia.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody this morning?
Morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Brenda's is interested in joining Rotary again, so I'm trying to bring her to Sunrise, so please continue to encourage her.
Yes. Welcome.
Thank you.
Morning, Rotarian Bob.
Morning.
Morning.
Hi, early, right?
Morning.
You're 2 minutes late.
No,
Yes,
man.
I am. I'm looking at my numbers actually.
Morning, everyone.
Yes, we can start now. Morning. Good to have you, Danny.
Morning, everyone.
Hey, everyone. We'll now convene. This meeting is now called to order. Welcome. And we'll have our invocation this morning by Rotarian Jamie.
Morning, Rotarians. We beseech thee, our Heavenly Father, to bestow thy grace upon this meeting. As we enjoy our fellowship, one with another, may we grow in stature so that we may be able to give more to our friends in Rotary, and in turn give strength to the ideals of Rotary in the service of mankind. Amen.
Amen. A.G. Carla will do the loyal toast. I don't see A.G. online.
Yeah, she's on.
Oh, she's on. Good morning.
Morning. To the Queen and to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
To the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Thank you. Visiting Rotarian, Secretary Donnet.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Let me start by welcoming everyone, but a very special welcome to our visitors, starting with our visiting Rotarians. PP Valerie, who is always with us. Welcome, PP Valerie. PP Deliso. And we have Rotarian Kellyanne. Welcome. And I know I just admitted to the room President Alicia from St. Martin. And I think that covers, as people are still entering, I'm trying to see if there's anyone else who's visiting. Kellyanne is from Rotary Club of East Nassau. And of course, Rotary President Alicia. So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining our meeting. And just before I hand over to President Francis, I just want to say that the raffle this morning is an organizer. It's really nice, something that I could do well with as well. So you can put your keys, your cell phone. It's like a desk organizer that you could use in your home or in your office. And the raffle is three for $10, one for $5. So please support the raffle, guys. Back to you, President Francis.
Thank you, Secretary Donnet. And now we'll turn it over to our capable Sergeant at Arms.
Already?
Yes, sir.
Morning, everybody. How many people we have on this morning?
29.
Huh?
29 persons.
Okay,
So far.
everybody should be celebrating, right? Everybody should be celebrating, won't you say? Huh?
What are we celebrating?
After inauguration.
Trump gone.
Oh.
Somebody said us last night, you can't even say that in playing a card game no more. So you say that in the card game, you're in trouble.
Trump. Well, thank God the world is rid of him from that position.
Well, he did say he will be back.
Yeah, he have plans to push his daughter in place.
in some form. That's all right. That's okay. We'll see. Okay. But so everybody should give a happy $5 because Trump gone.
Wow.
Okay. Isn't it worth it? The what? Who is that complaining?
Silence.
That's done that. And every person who is from Jamaica or has a Jamaican relative or a Jamaican spouse, because of the honor and pride that you feel, I know you would want to put in an extra $2.
Is that, what currency is that?
Just $5 for you. $5.
I will
want
put
no
in
US
10.
dollars. I want Bahamian
I will
dollars
put
right
in
down there.
10.
You will put in 10 for that?
Proud, yes, sir.
Proud. Okay. I'm sure. And anybody married to this lady who putting in 10, you know
Lord,
they
leave
got.
him alone. He retired, you know, Father. He's
I
retired.
know.
Give him a
And that's
break,
why I'm
please.
charging him 20.
Hey,
Anyway,
but
all who feel a
hold it
special
now.
sense.
My
Right.
mother's father was a Bahamian, you know.
Really? From where?
Long Island.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, not that fella. He's a
Father,
Harris.
if you fell for that, Father.
And you lying, past district governor, you lying to the whole community. You ought to know better. Anyway, I give you a break.
I was testing your knowledge.
Yeah, you guys buy me breakfast this morning, so I want hit you too hard. Anyway, I hope all is well with everybody. Where's my good friend Leon? Is Leon with us?
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. Okay, Leon.
Thank you.
All right. I remember a time Leon was lying down. His son came to him. He said, "Dad, give me $5, please." Leon said, "I can't hear too good in that ear. Come round to the other ear." So the fella, his son gone to the other ear. He said, "Dad, give me $10. Leon said, "Come back round to the $5 ear." Remember that, Leon?
Yeah, I thought he went up to $20.
and where's Dino on?
Not yet.
Dino not on yet. So it must be was Leon then. Leon came back from college trying to impress everybody on how knowledgeable he is. You remember there was all this perennial debate. Carla and others, well, all of us who study would know that there's always a debate on between heredity, what's in your DNA and all of that, and what is environment. If you grow up children in the right environment, well, the environment would be influential. Of course, if you born into a family, then certain habits you get from your family. That's the difference between heredity and environment. So Leon was trying to teach his brothers and sisters, his siblings, the difference. So his grandma was sitting on the porch, very unimpressed by all of this, not even understanding what he's trying to say. She said, "Come here, son, let me tell you something. Let me tell you the difference between heredity and environment. If you was a man in your house and all the children look like you, then that's heredity. If you was a man in your house and some of the children look like you and some of the children look like the neighbor, then that's heredity. Have a blessed day. That's environment, sorry. If they look like you, it's heredity. If some look like you, some look like the neighbor, then that's environment. That's the difference. God bless you all and have a good day.
Thank you, Father P.
Stay safe.
Father P. Cresswell early this morning.
Cresswell out?
Yes, he is.
Oh, Cress.
You missed Cresswell this morning.
No, I still hit him because somebody from Fidelity was singing his praises yesterday. Really? So I know he would want to thank God for being such a good man. She was telling me what a good man he is and all that kind of stuff. I said, I talking about Cresswell Gardner. She said, yes, that's who I mean. I said, okay, good, thank you, if you think so. we were talking about walkathons and stuff, and I was telling her how good you are. Really, I was, singing your praises. So Crest, put in another $5 for that, please. And I think you were missing last week, so you have to put in an extra $5 from last week. Thank God for you all, and have a great day, everybody, and continue to pray for America and pray for our own country. We are going through some very difficult times. Let's face it, no cruise ship for all these months. I hope people will stop berating, these little $60 a day people who come in on the cruise ship, most of them don't come off. Well, we ain't getting none now. I hope we're a little more grateful whenever we do get some people in our country. Hope this is the turnaround time for us, but we continue to reach out to people who have great difficulty making it in these times. Have a good day, y'all, and God bless.
Thank you, Father P. Past President Diana, for this.
Very pleasant good morning to one and all. We don't have any more celebrants for this week for birthdays and anniversaries, but we have someone upcoming next week, and we'll wait until then. Thank you.
Thank you too. Now we'll have our announcements. Directors, any announcements this morning?
While they're waiting, President, I just want to reiterate the raffle this morning is a desk organizer. Organize your phone, your keys, just about anything. It's beautiful. And I'd like you to buy your raffle tickets, please, before 7:50 a.m. It's a beautiful raffle prize, and it's $10 for 3 tickets and $5 for 1. I'm sure you'd like to get $10 tickets, so you increase your chances.
Announcements, please. No one has any announcements. All right, I have one. Rotarian Delissa Major, one of our Rotaracts from our Rotaract Club of Nassau Sunset, was one of the occupants of the home that was recently destroyed by fire on Cowpen Road, where 2 persons lost their lives. She is requesting assistance. She needs housing and is willing to pay rent in the amount of $700. A 1-bedroom apartment would be suitable for her and her 2 daughters, ages 3 and 8. So any one of our Rotarians that have a place to rent or know of someone that has a place to rent, kindly let me know so that I can pass the information on. There being no further announcements, I will now ask
President, what's the age of the children again, please?
ages 8 and 3. 2 little girls. She also needs clothing, or whatever assistance that we can give would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all. Now I'll ask Membership Director Kema to bring us a 5-minute presentation on membership.
Good morning.
Morning.
Apologies, I'm a little bit unprepared for the presentation this morning. But this year, our membership committee has been formed. So far, we have for this year, we've had 2 new members added to our club. We've had Rotarian Gwen and Rotarian Simone. We've also had transferred from another club, Rotarian Barry. added to our membership. This year, our focus mainly was on retention and ensuring we build or continue to build camaraderie within our Rotary Club. One of the goals we have this year that we are working on currently would be our new membership orientation program. The program would have been put together mainly by Secretary Donette with the assistance of past President Tanya. And that is one of the upcoming events that we're currently working on, hoping to have it rolled out by next month or the month after. This year has been a bit challenging for us in terms of fellowshipping because of this COVID environment. But hopefully within the next few months, we'll be able to get together, see each other again, whether it be in small groups or otherwise, to be able to rebuild our fellowship with each other. For persons that may be interested, because I know this would have been a part of the Vocational Services Month for us directors to provide some information to other members that may be interested in being a director of various roles. So as a membership director, you'll be responsible for one, increasing our membership, whether it be bringing persons in from the community directly or soliciting members from other Rotaract clubs. We do have so far one Rotaract member that expressed interest in being transferred to our club. She is currently engaged in our Rotary Club prospective members group chat. For those that don't know, we do have a WhatsApp prospective members group chat that we communicate with persons that are interested in joining the club on a weekly basis. We would share our weekly meetings as well as any community service events with them, just a way of keeping them engaged as much as possible. So we do have currently one person that is interested in transferring from a Rotary Club into the Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise. She's relocating or has relocated from Freeport and is looking for a club to join and expressed interest in our club. So apart from getting persons or soliciting persons to join our club through the assistance of existing members or social media, other avenues, we do work to keep engaged with our existing members in hopes of keeping us together, keeping us engaged in activities within the club, and keeping us as motivated as possible to do the work of Rotary. The role experience for me thus far has been enjoyable, to be able to communicate with persons of different personalities, try to resolve issues as fast as possible, to roll out programs, to keep us engaged as possible, as much as possible. Has been challenging, but a good experience, especially for being one of the new members of the club. So if anybody is interested, I keep it as short as possible. If anyone is interested in the role of the membership or being a part of the membership committee, you're welcome to reach out to me. I'll share as much as I can with you. We do have a lot of seasoned persons on our membership committee. One being PDG Felix, past assistant governor Karen, we have Secretary Doneth. So we have a number of persons on our membership committee, apart from me, who's able to share a lot of information about being a part of the committee or being a director itself. So thank you for the time for sharing. like I said, if you have any questions, concerns, queries, I'm always available by email or telephone. You can give me a call and we can have a chat. Thank you.
Thank you too, Director Kamer, for that very informative presentation. And
Madam
now
President, I have a comment.
Yes, go ahead, PDG.
Couple of things. First of all, for the sergeant, for someone who wasn't prepared to make a presentation, Akima should get fined for that speech. Secondly, she should also get fined because we don't solicit members, we invite members to join. Thirdly, she mentioned the fact that we have a challenge with fellowship. But if you remember, before we started doing the Zoom meetings, we used to have a 5 to 10 minute fellowship session within the club meeting. And a couple of meetings ago, Donna did an exercise where she broke people up into rooms, up to 3 persons, to get to know each other. And I would suggest we may want to do that on a regular basis, randomly put people in small rooms and help us to get to know each other better, because we've got a lot of new people in the club. Some of them I've never even met. And I think this may be an opportunity for us to get to know each other a little bit more intimately. But great job, my chairman, Akima.
Thank you, PDG. And now I'll invite Director Melanie to introduce our guest speaker, our own Rotarian Bob, who will speak on the topic career journey, lessons and challenges.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Dr. Robertson is the president of the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute. In 2016, Dr. Robertson was named a Fulbright Scholar by the U.S. Department of State and an emerging leader in the Americas by Global Affairs Canada. He holds a Master of Studies in Public Policy Law from Vermont Law School, Master of Public Administration from Dalhousie University, Canada, Doctorate in Management and Organization from Stirling University, Scotland, Postgraduate Diploma from the University of London, England, Graduate Diploma from London School of Economics, Executive Certificate Innovation and Strategy from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Executive Certificate in Leadership and Negotiation from Harvard University. Dr. Robertson has more than 25 years of experience leading award-winning organizations in the public, private, and not-for-profit sectors. He is also a Paul Harris Fellow. Let's welcome Dr. Robertson.
Morning, everyone. I'll just share my screen here if I can.
Yes, go right ahead, Dr. Robinson.
I'm just, I'm currently disabled by the participant. The host has disabled me. Just need to be re-enabled. Anyway, I'll just get started. We're going to look briefly.
You can share your screen.
Yep, I got it.
Try again. Okay.
We're going to look briefly today at the skills gap. I know some of you have attended other Rotary meetings, and so you've seen some of these slides, but I really want to change the focus today to look more directly at where we're going post-pandemic, and also talk briefly about the skills gap. Some of you know that we did a survey of firms in the Bahamas in 2019 related to the skills gap, and so the data that I'll talk about is almost 2 years old now. It also predates both the hurricane, Dorian, and also the pandemic. So the suggestion is we need to redo the survey this year, which gives us better and more timely data. But in any case, let's just go quickly through some of these slides, and I really want to focus on the last few, which talk specifically about the Bahamas. But the context is very important. A number of organizations and firms and governments have talked about the fact that we have significant change impacting us. I think that's very evident to everyone in this room, in this Zoom call, because of the businesses and the work that you all do. There are a number of trends that have been impacting us, in the Bahamas, but also around the world. And the point here, the last point is, it says we must reconsider how jobs are designed and work to adapt and learn for future growth, and that's imperative. But just briefly, the things that are driving change in terms of organizations, and this predates the pandemic, but I just want you to think about the changes to these drivers of change that have occurred as a result of the pandemic. So if we look at demographics, for example, we live in an aging world. You don't see that so much in the Bahamas. It's a more younger population, but certainly in different parts of the world, the problem with respect to demographics is real and growing. And so a lot of people are retiring from the workforce, and that means companies and countries, to remain competitive, will be increasingly going after people with the proper skills. Now, Canada, for example, has a white paper that suggests they need to increase immigration to be able to maintain, not grow, their current economy. And Canada will be aggressively looking for people with skills, including Bahamians. That's how it impacts us in the Bahamas. And that same dynamic is impacting other countries as well, the US, Germany, Italy, Japan in particular. So demographics is a major factor, and it's going to increasingly be evident to everyone over the next few years. The problem in the past was that baby boomers post-World War II were retiring faster. Now, God forbid, they're actually dying faster because of the pandemic. So the demographics piece is a big piece, and we have to remember that. Globalization, irrespective of the kind of downsides that we have seen, or the downturn in globalization in the last year or so, globalization will continue. There will continue to be trade. It'll grow after the pandemic. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And just think about the fact that globalization is not relatively new. It's been around since the days of Marco Polo or before. And so we will be involved in globalization. The Bahamas is uniquely well positioned geographically to take advantage of globalization. And we need to continue to reflect on the opportunities with respect to that. The downside to globalization, of course, is you can move anything around the world in 72 hours. That includes a virus. We currently are dealing with COVID-19. If you talk to informed sources, you can hear that there probably will be a COVID 2023 or 2024. I mean, there will be another one for sure. And so globalization is both sides of a sword. And then the other major driver is around technology. Technology continues to change the way work is occurring, and that's one of the things we have seen as a result of the pandemic. Some of you know that I have a house in Tampa, Florida. I was there at Christmas time. Tampa, Florida now has taxi service in the downtown core, which does not have a driver. You can get in the cab. It has a one-way trip only to a specific location and back. It's on a line currently, but there's no driver. It's a pilot, and it shows you how quickly technology is moving. When I talk to students at BTVI about driverless vehicles, they think that that's sometime in the next century. It'll happen very quickly everywhere for a variety of reasons. In addition, in the past few months in Florida, there have been driverless trucks on the road, 18-wheel trucks with no driver on the Florida Turnpike. Again, it's a pilot, it's an experiment, but that's how quickly things are changing. And in a recent Rotary presentation this week to a group in Freeport, somebody asked me, what does that mean for truck drivers? Well, it means they either skill up or they're unemployed. There is a global competitive index prepared annually by the World Economic Forum, and it highlights skills that are a critical piece of a country's global competitiveness. And so the bottom line suggests that although there are widening concerns about the skills gap, most companies don't do much to address the issue. And with respect, I would suggest that's exactly what's happening in the Bahamas. Most of the business folks that I talk to suggest skills gap. If you ask them what are they doing about it, precious little. And that's not a criticism, that's happening everywhere, as you can see from that IBM quote. SHRM is the Society for Human Resource Management. It suggests there's a considerable problem in filling key skills, particularly with respect to technology, but also technical skills. SHRM is a global operation. There is a chapter here in Nassau, and it shows a significant and growing skills gap. So I don't think we can say this is a you know, a short-term kind of a problem, or a problem that doesn't fit us. This is some other data. This is post-pandemic, and it talks about the percentages of people who feel there is a skills gap. And the one I want to focus on is on the far right, where the European Union says that almost 9 million people in Europe need skills upgrading. This is a SHRM study just prior to the pandemic. That number has actually almost doubled because of the pandemic, according to the European Union, and it suggests that the key skill that Europeans are lacking to remain globally competitive is with respect to technology, and I'll get to what that means for us in just a minute. So the European Union has done a commission report on post-COVID skills. And this is very interesting. It was produced, I think, 3 or 4 months ago. And I think there needs to be some kind of a plan available, because we will come out of the pandemic. But you know, what does that mean for us as a country and in terms of the labor force? So it talks about, you know, some of these things, some of which were prevalent before the pandemic, but have changed in terms of dynamics. So in terms of just a few of them, leadership here, they talk about the need for leaders to be digitally aware and be able to operate in a more remote environment. You know, you can see the data suggesting that, for example, some big cities in the United States are actually losing population. New York City, for example, they're moving to other states, other parts of the country where it's not quite so densely populated. Currently, Florida is actually receiving over 1,000 new residents every day. So Florida is a recipient of a lot of it. But the point on leadership is that leaders need to have like new skills to be able to manage remote, diverse workforces. That drives a requirement for emotional intelligence that reflects the fact that, you know, working on Zoom is not as easy as some of us might anticipate. We certainly have to have digital and coding skills. The Bahamas is quite weak in that respect, and we're trying to do something about it, which I'll explain in a minute. And I guess the fourth skill, which I think is particularly important, is we have to be adaptable. One of the things I like about Rotary is that, you know, the membership reflects a diverse group of people, business and community leaders, and they're very adaptable. I've spoken at a number of different Rotary clubs recently, as far away as Scotland and Canada and different parts of the world. And, you know, I'm just amazed at how adaptable Rotary has been to the pandemic. Technology skills are critical. We'll come back to the Bahamian or the BTVI response to that in a minute. Certainly, we have to be creative and innovative. So, you know, necessity is the mother of invention. We are in a pandemic. We have to think differently. The companies that will be successful are doing that. The companies that aren't will probably fail. We need to be literate with respect to big data and critical thinking. So those are the skills the European Union suggests are important. And just a quick sense of what the impacts of some of those might be. We will see more distributed work. I don't think there's any doubt about that. There was a trend towards that pre-pandemic, but now there's even a more pronounced trend towards it. It's actually cheaper for companies not to have big office buildings downtown. In fact, in Tampa, a couple of big office buildings have been slated to be converted to condominiums, and they've been office buildings for quite some time. The skills required need to be reassessed, and that's really the thrust of my remaining 3 or 4 slides, and that's all I have actually. There will be increased competition both internally to countries, but also externally, and H2Q stands for the headquarters competition for the second Amazon headquarters. Hundreds and hundreds of cities and counties bid and provided cash and incentives for Amazon to put their headquarters in their community. That kind of competition will be, I think, expanding significantly over the next few years. Innovation, we just talked about that. And then one of the key things you'll see increasingly is partnerships, PP3s. Every government around the world now, including the Bahamas, is fiscally stressed. They have no extra money. And so to do things, they will have to, and companies will have to as well, partner with others to get the job done in the most efficient manner possible. So public-private partnerships, I think, are going to be increasingly important. So what does all this mean to us? I think there's maybe 2 or 3 slides specific to the Bahamas. Our recent survey suggested that more than 60% of employers have significant concerns about the skill sets and the quality of prospective employees. My sense is it's probably growing since both Dorian and the pandemic. But again, that's data is 2 years old now, and we need to constantly update that. So we are looking at doing the survey again in 2021. And what I would request, and I'll ask some of the Rotarians specifically, and I've spoken to clubs in Freeport and in Eleuthera about this, I'd like to try to get as much support for the survey as possible, and so we can get a robust set of data to help us to find out where we sit currently. The skills gap clearly is not unique to the Bahamas, nor is it new. There's both soft and hard skills at play here. The key identified areas from the survey are in IT, general office skills, and technical skills, and that's where I'll focus for the remaining few slides as we wrap up. So our response, and I think this is important, the data suggests in the US that university and college enrollment is down an average of 10 to 15% for traditional students. At BTVI, our enrollment's down about 22% for traditional students. However, we have a large number of short, flexible, stackable, and certified courses that we've introduced, and these have increased the enrollment. Our enrollment's actually up, but the traditional student is just not coming to school, even if it's free with scholarships. And the reason for that is they have other things on their mind. Where is the dinner from tomorrow going to come from? Where am I going to work? The hotel I work in is closed. Even with a free opportunity to upgrade your skills, it's difficult for someone to commit to a 1-year certificate or a 2-year diploma. And so I think there will be increased demand, not only here, but globally, for these short courses. And I'll show you an example in a second, that are flexible. In the past, education was a very hierarchical, kind of situation. You came to school at 9 o'clock on Monday, you finished at 11 your class on Monday, and you followed their rules. Now we have to follow the rules of the consumer, I think. One of the things we've also been trying to do is provide virtual opportunities countrywide. This is critically important. The pandemic has illustrated this. And it's very important that we expand this. A lot of times I hear complaints about, virtual learning, and God knows there are issues with the internet, with devices, with the way online learning works. But we have to improve that rather than throw the baby out with the bathwater. And so I think going forward, we will see more like blended courses. People have asked me, when will BTVI get back to normal? And I keep telling them never. It'll never go back to the way it was before. We will always continue with at least blended courses, not face-to-face to the extent that we had previously. And I think that's happening everywhere. We have to work, I think, more directly with the high schools in the Bahamas. Young people tend to make decisions about careers earlier than we anticipate, whether by choice or just by serendipity. But if they're inclined to be technically oriented, that decision has been made earlier than sort of 17, 18. And so dual enrollment is important. We're about to roll out some programs directly to the high schools that I'll speak to in a second, which I think will increase the current 700 dual enrollment students to about 1,500 by the middle of the year. There needs to be a real emphasis on technical, practical skills, either technology or plumbing, carpentry, that type of thing. And so to do that, we've built up our package of global recognized certifications. So CompTIA, BTVI was recognized as the leader in Latin America and the Caribbean with respect to CompTIA for the second time this year. We have a number of Cisco certifications, NCCER that I'll speak about in a second, and then City and Guilds. Rotary role with regards to this, I think, is important in terms of skills gap generally. The skills gap has been far more understood by people because of the awareness that Rotary has focused on the skills gap, and so that education component is very helpful. Rotary clubs
Unmute.
Dr. Rob?
It's having
Technical difficulties.
technical difficulties.
Sorry,
Oh, he's back, yeah.
Okay, he's back.
we have to have that happen, actually, given the topic, so. So the high school in Marsh Harbor is opening soon, and the disaster fund from the Rotary Club will help provide tablets for them. And the Rotary Club has been very helpful with respect to speakers. So there's been a lot of really positive things that have occurred there. I just have a couple of slides. This NCCER thing is very important, I think, and a game changer in the Bahamas. And it stands for the National Center for Construction Education and Research. It's a Florida-based, internationally recognized credential in construction. So the core program is 80 hours. It's all virtual. There's 240 hours then, which makes you a master craftsman or woman. To date, we have over 100 trained Bahamians as certified instructors. We have 100 students who have completed the core course, including 35 from Moores Island. And people always ask me, why did we go to Moores Island? Well, the thought was if we could pilot it there and it worked okay there, it would work anywhere. No disrespect, they were very supportive of it. The faculty was there, and we had, out of the 30 students, 27 of them passed. So they're now certified with NCCER, and they're very desperate to start the remaining 240 hours, which requires some hands-on, by the way. It's not just virtual in the second part. We currently have more than 200 students in class, including 100 who just started yesterday in Grand Bahama. So our goal is to have over 1,000 people graduate from this program by year end, and 200 craftsmen who have completed the entire program. As we look at big projects in the next year, companies coming here will want these people to work for them. And if they can't find these people to do it, they'll find somebody else who is skilled from another country. There's no doubt about it. These courses, by the way, some people have said, well, they're academically light. That's why the graduation rate's so high. But these courses carry university credit. The University of Central Florida accredits NCCER and takes their courses. So does the University of South Florida. They're also professionally certified, so you can work in the US if you wanted to, or in Canada with this. Now, our focus on NCCER will be in Abaco and Grand Bahama because of the hurricane damage. And the example that I just spoke about briefly as we lost connection is the co-location of an NCCER center that we will put in Marsh Harbor when the high school opens, I think in about 3 weeks. They're just finishing it now. Our other big initiative is around digital courses. We have a series of nano courses that will be advertised as publicly available for free. We want to try to get as many people to take digital courses in nanotechnology as quickly as possible. That's helpful for the economy for the reasons I mentioned previously. These are certified courses primarily by Cisco, and they include badges, and you can take them on your schedule, which is the value of virtual learning. The ICT program is an example of this. We have students from around the country in grade 10, 11, and 12 taking 15 courses. The first group graduates in June of 2021. So they'll finish high school with a BTVI diploma, a high school diploma, and 10 or 11 certified courses by Cisco. And finally, we have programmer training, which is going to be advertised as publicly available in partnership with the government of the Bahamas and Cisco. Programmers are very much in demand around the world, and we have a pool of money and assistance from Cisco to provide that training for free. So if you have an interest in technology or programming, here's a no-brainer for you if you're interested. So in summary, it's pretty clear to me, at least, that change is pervasive. It will continue. I know a lot of people are risk adverse, they're change adverse, but that's not going to happen. COVID-19 has simply accelerated the changes. It hasn't led to, I think, a big change in some respects, other in direction, but in time it has. We must be prepared as both individuals and organizations, and so the training component is really critical. And then the last piece is about lifelong learning. We have students at BTVI are in their 70s. And so, you know, they are looking to continue to learn. And as you grow older, I think there's some merit in that. I had an MBA student a few years ago who was 93 years old finishing his MBA. And and he was online doing it, and it was obvious he had a little trouble with technology. But when we asked him about it, students kind of asked him, you seem like you've had a lot of experience in business, you've owned business, why are you doing this? And his response, I always remember, was very compelling. He said, I have two granddaughters, and I asked them recently, what do you girls want to be when you grow up? And they said to him, Grandpa, we want to be just like you. You have a nice house, a nice car, you go on vacations. We want to be just like you, Grandpa. And he said to the girls, you're going to have to get an education if you want to be like me. And they said, no, Grandpa, you dropped out of school when you were in high school. You told us that. So we don't need an education. We want to be just like you. And bless his heart, he decided he better go back and get a degree to show his granddaughters how important it was. And so he did. He got a bachelor's and then a master's degree in business. Anyway, a few references, and then the bridge. That's the skills gap, and we're bridging it right there, as you can see at BTVI. I apologize if I went a little long, Madam President, but that's my presentation. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Rotarian Bob. Wonderful presentation as usual. Are there any questions for Dr. Bob? There's one in the chat.
Yes, Madam President. Would you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it says, Dr. Rob, do you feel that the shift to online learning or training has also negatively impacted our ability to bridge the skills gap locally?
I'd say no, because we have to, for one. We did a survey of students at BTVI in both of the two terms that were impacted by going virtual. And most students said that they want us to continue online, even past COVID. It provides that level of training itself in the skills just by doing the online course. And it is the way of the future. I mean, some courses are being offered, for example, certified courses in welding online, plumbing online, virtual simulations, that type of thing. So I think the problem is, and again, this is no disrespect to the Bahamas, but a lot of us just aren't familiar with good online education. So we just kind of put what we had on ground into online, and that's not the way it should be done. It's a different, animal, and we have to do it properly. So I think the answer is sure, there are problems in moving over in terms of devices, connectivity. I spoke to a young student yesterday who tells me that she goes to the shopping mall where there's a Starbucks, Harbor Place, I think, or Harbor Market, and sits outside so she can get her internet to finish her schoolwork. Now, we found something else for her to be able to do that a little bit differently, but those problems continue to persist. But overall, I think it's not really harmed us, and it will be continuing.
Okay, the other question is, will BTVI provide training or certification for higher levels of skill and leadership in trades? For example, a master tradesperson, project managers, contractors, etc.
So that's what that NCCER piece is about. It provides that level of training. It does allow, the core is just the first step. And so a lot of people go through the core. Basically, that just teaches you a little bit about the job site, safety on the job site, a little bit about math related to the job site. It's embedded in the course. But as you finish that piece, go into another component that talks about master tradespersons. And that's the piece that's important. And it also talks about a little bit about entrepreneurship, because tradespeople can start their own companies. They don't have to work for somebody, and project management.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions? Yes, I see one from Dr. Sophia. You want to ask it, or you want me to read it? So the question is there a gap between students and teachers in the digital world, and how are we bridging this gap?
So one of the things we did at BTVI was we recognized, talking to faculty, they were nervous about fully going online. So from March, when we had the shutdown of 20, until July, we had 11,000 hours of training that faculty members completed to improve their teaching skills, to make them feel more comfortable in the classroom. And we've also tried to ensure that you know, we did the same for students. So students in many places in the past, I've seen students would be dumped into a class, right? They've got no training experience about it. Now we have like an introduction to online learning course, no credit, it's free, but we require students to take it. And it's really been helpful and valuable because it sets the tone for the students to do that. And then we continue ongoing training with faculty members. We've been fortunate to have some very good faculty members. We have a couple on the call today, I see, who have been just serendipitously in the Bahamas, who've helped us in terms of course design and course delivery. So from that point, I think we have probably one of the best in terms of skill sets of people to offer these courses from almost any school that I've seen in my career. We've got a really good group of faculty who are really committed to student success.
Okay, and I think that's it. Oh, another question. Have you offered this service to the ministry?
We have. So we have 230 230 teachers in the ministry have gone through nanotechnology training, which includes 4 courses in developing and designing courses for online. So 250 have gone through in the first cohort. We're about to launch the second cohort, and there'll be a graduation for the first cohort in the next few weeks. It's been very helpful to them, I believe, from the surveys that we've seen. I think it's improved their skills, and it's a nice structured way to provide them with some professional development training.
Okay, I think that's it, Madam President.
Oh, there's another question.
Oh, sorry. Are customer encounter courses required prior to graduating or getting a certificate?
I'm not quite sure what that means. So the certificate basically is standalone. It doesn't require any customer interface per se. If it happens to be a trade course, though, we have boot camps. So you have to come on campus at some point and show that you can connect 2 pipes, or you can, you know, put 2 pieces of wood together. Like, there's a practical component to it, and we do that via something called a boot camp. In the technical courses and in the teaching courses, there is a requirement to do a mock class. So there is a kind of a customer interface with respect to those points.
Okay. And no other question? Any other questions?
I have a question. I have my hand up, but it's hard to see with the rotary.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm always amazed at the work that BTVI does and when Dr. Robertson speaks. And we hope to put the full force and support of RCOB behind Dr. Robertson and BTVI and their work. My question is, so I hear of the skills gap, and the skills gap is often framed in terms of the lack of skills on the part of the employee. And I'm thinking about something I heard the other day. There's some persons who have technical skills who cannot work remotely because their place of employment isn't structured for them to work remotely. That place hasn't prepared itself, hasn't put procedures in place that allow the employees to work remotely or to even employ some technical skills. And so my question is BTVI interfacing with the employers, with the chambers of commerce, with somehow also positioning them so that there is not a greater skills gap, so that they can use the skills of the employees when you give these employees those skills?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, I think one of the deficiencies with regards to the skills gap is, I mean, employers constantly complain about it everywhere, and they constantly blame the government for it. I think if it's going to be a problem that'll be resolved, it has to be through some partnership between government and business. And so that it's structured in terms of the direction it's heading in and how fast we get there. And if there isn't that level of partnership, it's not a problem. I mean, the businesses are voting with their feet. They got other issues that are more important. I'm actually invited to speak next week, I think on Wednesday, at the Freeport Chamber of Commerce meeting. And that's precisely the tone that we're going to take there in terms of how can we help them to be prepared to offer their businesses in that manner? Recently, when I came back from the United States a few weeks ago, I was surprised, I guess, how quickly firms were adapting. So, for example, in most of the airports now, you cannot use cash. And they don't want you to use a credit card either. They want a tap off. And how many people are prepared for that? I mean, really prepared for it. I saw the same thing in Hong Kong 5 or 6 years ago. I lined up to buy something at a 7-Eleven and people looked at me like I was crazy when I offered cash. They were all tapping off 5 or 6 years ago. We have to be prepared for that. It's coming fast, and it has big impacts on all kinds of businesses. And frankly, I just don't think we're there yet.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Bob, Dr. Bob, for that very informative presentation this morning. Wonderful. Now we'll invite PDG Felix to bring the vote of thanks, please.
Thank you, Madam President, Dr. Robertson. On behalf of your colleague, fellow Rotarians of Nassau Sunrise, visiting Rotarians and our guests, it is a pleasure for me to offer this vote of thanks to you for sharing your thoughts on a challenge that has plagued us globally, but specifically here in the Bahamas for many, many years, the skills gap. Many persons have talked about it. Very few people have done anything about it. And so we're pleased to see that with your visionary leadership, we have an organization in BTVI that is actually stepping up to the challenge and addressing this issue head on, because until we could help to alleviate or ameliorate some of these issues and this gap, the Bahamas will continue to lag in its economic development. So on behalf of all of us, let me thank you so much for your personal involvement and your leadership, and can offer you our support in making sure that as you travel along this journey, that you meet with all the successes that you anticipate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, PG Felix. And now we'll have the raffle. Secretary Donnet.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. And while I'm doing that, I want to welcome President Latoya from our Rotaract Club. She joined us after we did the welcome. And also DeLorean Ferguson. Anyone else who joined after, welcome, and I hope you enjoyed the meeting. So I hope everyone is feeling lucky this morning, those who have bought tickets, and you're about to get a beautiful desk or multi-purpose organizer. So here we go. And the winner is Carla. No, Carla and Felix, I don't know.
Yes, it's about time, 2021.
Congratulations.
It's our time.
So Carla, if you can pass by.
I claim the prize.
If you can pass by President's office, then you can pick up your prize as well as that of Felix, because I think the last time I checked, you both shared the same address. So we're discovering that the former number 45 did not share the same bedroom with his wife. But I know you share the same address at least. So pick up your raffle prize and I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Thank you,
President.
Thank you, Secretary Donnet. The four-way test by Admin Chair Leon.
Of all the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Is it
fair to all concerned?
Will it build goodwill and better fellowship, friendship?
Will it build goodwill and better
friendships?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And is it fun?
And is it fun?
That is not part of the four-way test, by the way.
It isn't. Thank you, Admin Chair Leon. Now the final toast by past President Diana.
Pleasant good morning again, one and all. To Rotary around the world.
To Rotary
Rotary
around the
the
world.
world. Thank you, everyone, especially our visiting Rotarians. Thank you for your participation this morning. Please come again and have a blessed day, everyone. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Have a good day.
Have a good day, everyone.
Have a good
Good
day.
day.
Have a good day. All right, guys.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Yes, Delisa, I will.
Felix, 9 o'clock?
Yep, 9 o'clock it is.
Bye all. Have a good one.
All right, have a good one.
Bye, Dr. Maloney.
Y'all have a good
Bye.
one.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
See you in a bit, Father Felicius.
I will.
Bye.